Hello everyone. In this video, we look at the weekend practice assignment solutions. The first question is 5 random alphabets were selected from 26 English alphabets A, B, C, D and so on Z. Let the random variable be number of vowels in the selected 5 random alphabets. If the probability that random variable will take value 4 is x into 10 power minus 3, then what is the value of x? So basically what they were saying is that from these 26 alphabets, we have selected 5. The total ways of doing that would be 26C 5. Since we are selecting 5 alphabets, and they are saying the random variable is number of vowels in this 5 selected alphabets. So in this 5 selected alphabets, we could have 0 vowels, 1 vowel, 2 vowel, 3 vowel, 4 vowel or 5 vowels itself. Since we have total of A, E, I, O, U. These are all the vowels. 5 vowels. So we know that there are 5 vowels. So the remaining would be 26 minus 5, which is 21 consonants. So we have 21 consonants and 5 vowels. What they were asking is the probability that random variable will take value 4 is x into 10 power minus 3. Then what is the value of x? So if random variable is equals to 4, value is 4, that means that we have selected 4 vowels. Since the random variable is number of vowels, we have selected 4 vowels. That could be done in 5C4 ways. Since we have total of 5 vowels, among this we should be selecting only 4. So that could be done in 5C4 ways. And we need to select one more alphabet. Since we have total of 5 alphabets, that should be selected from these 26 alphabets. So the remaining one alphabet should be a consonant. We could select one consonant from the remaining 21 consonants in 21 C1 ways. So the total number of ways in which the random variable will take value 4 is 5C4 into 21 C1 ways. The probability that the random variable value would take value 4 is the total ways it could be possible divided by the total number of possible ways in which we could select 5 alphabets. That would be 26C5 as we have seen initially. This value would be equals to approximately 1.5960 into 10 power minus 3. If you look at the second question, they are saying that in a gun manufacturing factory which produces 100 guns, out of which 5 are defective. Now a dealer named Munna wants to buy 10 guns from the factory. Let a random variable be the number of guns Munna brought are defective. What value of random variable has the highest probability? So basically we have 100 guns that are in the factory. We have 5 are defective. Remaining 95 are non-defective. So now a dealer named Munna, he wants to buy 10 guns from this 100 guns. So for him to buy 10 guns, in those 10 guns we could have non-defective guns, we could have defective guns, anything could be possible. So they are saying that random variable is number of guns Munna brought are defective. So what are all the values this random variable can take? It could take, let the random variable be x, capital X. It could take 0. In these 10 guns, 0 could be defective, or 1 could be defective, so or 2 could be defective, or 3 could be defective, or 4 or 5. It can't be more than 5 because only in these 100 guns only 5 are defective. So if you look at the probabilities of each of the random variable, so P of x equals to 0 would be, we should take 0 defective guns. So that means that he should be selecting, we have total of 95 non-defective, 5 defective. So he should be selecting all the 10 guns from this 95 non-defective itself. that would be 95C 10. The total number of ways would be 100C 10, since from the pool of 100 he could select any 10 guns. For P of x equals to 1, if we calculate the value, this means that we should be selecting one defective gun. Among these 5, we should be selecting one. So that would be 5C1, and he needs 9 more guns. Those 9 more guns should be non-defective. Those could be selected in 95C 9 ways. Divided by, again, the total number of ways would be 100C 10. Similarly, P of x equals to 2 would be 5C2, since he needs to select 2 defective guns, and remaining 8 should be non-defective. That could be selected in 95C8 ways. 100C 10. The denominator will be the same because the total possible ways would be 100C 10 itself. Similarly, P of x equals to 3 would be 5C3 into 95C 7 divided by 100C 10. P of x equals to 4 would be 5C4 into 95C 6 divided by 100C 10. P of x equals to 5 would be 5C5 into 95C5 divided by 100C 10. And if we compute the values of this, P of x equals to 0 would be having the highest possible value. So the answer would be 0. For the random variable value of 0, we will be having highest probability. P of x equal to 0 would be highest. If we move on to the next question, which is third one, they are saying that the probability distribution of a random variable x is given below, which is this. The value is 1 by 2 power x for all n, and x is greater than or equals to 1, where x belongs to n is nothing but natural numbers. So that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. And they are also saying that x should be greater than or equals to 1. So this 0 won't be there. 0 won't be there, remaining all will be there. 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. And P of x equals to P of x would be 0 for all the other values of x. Does the above probability distribution satisfy all the properties of PMF? What are the properties of PMF? The first property would be, for any value of x, the value of P of x should be greater than or equal to 0. So if you look at 1 by 2 power x, for any value of 1, 2, 3, 4, this 2 power x is always positive. So 1 by 2 power x is always greater than or equal to 0. And for all the remaining values of x, anyway they are giving the value is equal to 0. So that is greater than or equal to 0. So the first condition is satisfied. First condition, that P of x equals to x should be greater than or equal to 0 for all x is satisfied. And the second condition is the sum of the probabilities of each of x should be equals to 1. That is sigma of I equals to 1 to infinity P of x equals to xi should be equals to 1. So for us, for the values of x equals to 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, the sum should be equals to 1, because for the remaining anyway it is equal to 0 and it won't count. Implies of x equals to 1 to infinite, this P of capital X equals to small x should be equals to 1, implies we substitute the value of this with 1 by 2 power x. This should be equals to 1. We'll just verify that. This is nothing but 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 cube plus 1 by 2 power 4 plus and so on. This, if you see that it is a geometric series, since we are having a r is equals to half for each case, we are multiplying it by half. this is half. The first term is 1 by 2, the second term is 1 by 2 into 1 by 2, which is 1 by 2 square. The third term is 1 by 2 square into 1 by 2, which is 1 by 2 cube. So a is equals to the first term, which is 1 by 2, and r is equals to 1 by 2. We could see that here the modulus of r, which is equals to half, is less than 1. We have infinite terms here, so the sum of this, as we know, is equals to a by 1 minus r. A is equals to half divided by r is equals to half, which would be equals to 1 by 2 by 1 by 2, which is 1. So the second condition, that the sum of the probabilities of each value of random variable is equals to 1, is also satisfied. So the given probability distribution is a PMF. So it is true. If you look at the fourth question, in an exam there are 10 multiple choice questions. Each question contains 4 options, out of which only one option is correct. Every student needs to attempt all the questions. Let the random variable be number of questions that are correct. What is the probability that random variable is equals to 7? The random variable is number of questions that are correct. Okay, we have 10 questions. In this 0 could be correct, 1 could be correct, 2 could be correct, 3 and so on, all the 10 could be correct. These are all the values is random variable x. Let this number of questions correct to be x, the random variable. So these are all the values this random variable can take. So they are asking for the probability that random variable is equal to 7. The random variable is equal to 7, it means that 7 questions are correct. What is the probability that 7 questions are correct? It would be, so first of all we should be choosing 7 questions among this 10 questions of 1. Let the questions be 1 to 10, and in those 10 questions we should be choosing 7 questions which are correct. So that would be in 10c7 ways, and for each of the question that is correct, there is only one way it would be correct. I mean, either A, B, C or D, only one way we should be selecting, that would be correct. So that would be 1 power 7 into the remaining 3 wrong questions. Let's say the options are A, B, C, D. Okay, so if the correct option is C, instead of selecting C, I can select A, B or D. So I have 3 ways of selecting wrong option. So for these 3 questions, I have 3 cube ways of choosing wrong options. So the probability would be the total possibilities divided by the total number of possibilities for this 10 multiple choice questions. The total number of possibilities would be, for each question I have A, B, C, D. I should be selecting any one of these options because they have said that every student needs to attempt all the questions. So for each question I have 4 options for selecting. For 10 questions I will be having 4 power 10 ways. So this is the probability that 7 questions would be correct. This is the probability for random variable is equal to 7. So this 10c7 is nothing but 10c3. We know that ncr is equals to ncn minus r. So 10c7 would be equals to 10c 10 minus 7, that is equals to 10c3. So the options 1 and 2 are correct. If you look at the next question, so basically what they were saying is, until I go to this ith toss, I won't be getting head. I mean, the number of tosses required to get first head is I. That means that until I minus 1 tosses, I will be getting only tail. Only at ith toss, I will be getting head. Right? So for this I minus 1 tosses to be tail, so the probability for that would be, for the first one, the only option is tail. That could happen in 1 by 2. The probability for that would be 1 by 2 since it is a fair coin. For second toss also it should be tail. It should be 1 by 2 and so on until I minus 1 toss. It would be 1 by 2. So this would be 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 into and so on until I minus 1, so that would be 1 by 2 whole power I minus 1. And at ith toss we should be getting first head. So exactly at ith toss we will be getting a head. That means the probability of getting head in the ith toss should be again half, since it is a fair coin. So the probability for x equals to I would be, I should be getting tails until I minus 1 tosses. The probability for that would be I minus 1, and I should be getting head in the next toss. For that it would be 1 by 2. Total probability would be, so the probability would be half whole power I, 1 by 2 whole power I. For the next question they are saying that use the following information. Two friends Ramesh and Suresh wants to play book cricket game. The rules of the game are your initial score is 0. Suppose we have these two players, Ramesh R and Suresh S. His initial score is 0. Both of them will have an initial score of 0. You have maximum 5 chances. So Ramesh and Suresh, they have maximum 5 chances. You need to randomly open a book page. The last digit of right side page number will be added to your current score. So we will be having a page, right? So suppose this is a book. This is the left side, this is the right side. Whatever value we have in the right side, that score will be added to Ramesh or Suresh. Suppose if it is 26, then 6 will be added to Ramesh score. And if Suresh opens, let's say 20, then 0 will be added to Suresh score. Okay. If you get 0, you are out and you won't have any more chances to play again, even though your chances are not done. Suppose Suresh got 0 in the first case, then 0 will be added to his score, and he won't be having chances. He won't be playing for his next 4 chances, even though there are some chances left. His total chances are 5, even though you could say that he has 4 more chances left. He has 4 more left, but since he got 0, he can't play anymore. It's like he got out. The person who gets highest score is the winner. At the end of their chances, whoever gets the highest score, if it is Ramesh or Suresh, then he will be the winner. That's the rules of the game. So the book Ramesh and Suresh are using to play book cricket contains 10 pages, numbered 1 to 10, with the right side pages containing even number. So that would be, let's say we have the page of, here it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these are all the possible values for this particular book, and these are all the possible scores they could be taking. It could be 2, 4, 6, 8. Here, since we should be looking only at the last digit, so that would be 0. So the possible score would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 0. The probability mass function PR of x equals to xi and PS of x equals to xi will be the probability that Ramesh and Suresh will score xi runs. So they are saying that at the end of their chances, so the probability for Ramesh scoring xi runs is PR of x equals to xi. For Suresh it is PS of x equals to xi. So the first question is, what is the probability that Ramesh will be not out at the end of his chances? Or let us look at all the possible ways that could happen. So they have total of 5 chances. Okay, be it Ramesh or Suresh. So they have total of 5 chances. If he gets out in the first chance itself, then he won't be playing anymore. Suppose if he gets 0 here, then he won't be playing anymore. He won't even be having chances to play later. So okay, that is one way it could happen. He could get out in the first chance itself. Suppose he won't get out in the first chance. That could happen in, we have the chance of 2, 4, 6, 8, 0. Since these are the right side pages, for him not to get 0, he should be getting 2, 4, 6, 8. The total ways that could happen is 4. Okay, and in the next chance he should be getting out, the total ways that could happen is 1. So the total possible ways would be 4 into 1, that is equals to 4 ways. Okay, and if he is not out until the first 2 chances and gets out in third chance, that means here he is not out, here he is not out, and in the third chance he is out. For that to happen would be, he could be not out in the first chance in 4 ways. It could either be 2, 4, 6, 8, and he could be not out in the second chance in again 4 ways. He could get either 2, 4, 6, 8, and in the third chance, since he should be out, he should be getting 0. He should be getting only 1. Oh, sorry, he should be getting only 0. That could happen in one way. For him to be not out in for him to be not out until 3 chances and get out in the fourth chance, it would be again 4 into 4 into 4 into 1. Since for not out we have 4 chances, and for out there is only one way, he should get 0. For him to be not out until 4 chances and get out in the last, it would be not out, not out, not out, and out. It would be 4 into 4 into 4 into 4 into 1. That would be 4 power 4. This is 4 cube, and this is 4 square. So for him to be not out at the end of 5 chances, that is, he should be not out in the first chance, second chance, third chance, fourth chance, and fifth chance, it would be 4 into 4 into 4 into 4 into 4 again. That would be 4 power 5. So these are all the total ways in which Ramesh could play his game. That is, he could get out in the first chance, or he could get out in the second chance. This is out in the first chance. Similarly, out in the second chance, out in third chance, out in fifth chance, not out after 5 chances. So the total possible ways would be 1 plus 4 plus 4 square plus 4 cube plus 4 power 4 plus 4 power 5. Sum of these values. If you compute this value, it would be equals to 1365. The total ways he could be not out is 4 power 5, as we have seen. So the probability for Ramesh to be not out would be 4 power 5 divided by the total possibilities in which he could play the game. Let us look at the second question. If Ramesh has scored 6 runs in his chances, what is the probability that Suresh will score more than 6 runs and win the game? Okay. So let us look at all the ways he could score 6 runs or more. Let us look at all the runs Suresh will score 6 runs or less, so that we could get all the ways he could get 6 runs or more. Okay. So for him to get 6 runs or less, the total possible ways would be either he could get 2, 4, 6. Since he could get only even numbered runs, he could get the 0 score itself. If he is out in the first chance, then his score would be 0 and he is out. For him to get 0, it would be 0 only one way. He should be out in the first chance. For him to get 2, he should be getting 2 in the first chance and 0 in the second chance, so that would be also one way. For him to get 4, it could be 2, 2, 2, 0. He could get 2s. He could score 2 runs in the first chance, 2 runs in second chance, 2 runs in third chance, and 0 in the fourth chance. Or he could score 4, 0. That is also possible. So this is one way, and this is also one way. And lastly, if you look at 6, that could happen in 6, 0. He could score 6 runs in the first ball, in the first chance and 0 in the second chance, and or else he could score 4-2-0 or 2-4-0. Sorry, here for him to get 4 runs, the possible way is 2-0. If it is 2-2-0, then it will be 6 runs. So it is 2-0 there. So for him to get 6 runs, it would be 6-0, 4-2-0, 2-4-0 or 2-2-2-0. So the total possible ways are 1 plus 1 plus and so on. It would be 8 ways. So totally we have 8 ways of getting 6 runs or less. So among this, among the 1365 ways, which you have seen from the previous question, there are 8 ways you could get 6 runs or less. So the possible ways you could get 6 runs or more would be 1365 minus 8, which is 1357. So the probability of him winning the game would be 1357 divided by 1365. So P of x equals 6 means that he scored 6 runs in an over. So we should be getting all the ways in which he can score 6 runs in an over. For the people who know the formula of this n plus r minus 1 c r minus 1, it is going to be pretty straightforward. It's going to be, since we have 6 runs, that should be divided into 6 balls. The probability, so the number of chances would be 6 plus 6 minus 1 c 6 minus 1, that would be 11c5. For the people who don't know this formula, we could still solve this in a different way. We have 6 runs, let us consider them as 1, 1, 1, 1 and so on. So we have 6 runs and that should be distributed to 6 balls. So we should be having the boundaries between each runs, boundary in the sense like division between runs, so that we could consider until that division as 1 ball and after that as another ball. Okay, so let me include one division there, here. Okay, so until here we have this as first ball runs, this is second ball runs, this is third ball runs. Here we have nothing here, but it's fourth ball runs. This is fifth ball and this is sixth ball runs. So in this particular way we have, he scored 1 run in the first ball, 1 run in the second ball, one run in the third ball, 0 in the fourth ball, 1 run in the fifth ball and 2 runs in the sixth ball. If we see here, if you could just arrange these different values of 1 and this boundary value, which is nothing but this big vertical line, we will be getting all the chances of all the possible ways in which we could score 6 runs in 6 balls. By just arranging this ones and this big vertical lines, which are nothing but divisions, we can be getting all the possible ways in which we could score 6 runs in 6 balls. So this is nothing but we should be arranging these 5 vertical lines and these 6 runs. So that could be done in, these are 11, 6 runs plus 5 vertical lines, that is nothing but 11 factorial, and among this 11 objects we have 5 vertical lines which are similar, 5 divisions which are similar, so 5 factorial into all these runs 1, 1, 1 and so on, 6 are similar, so 6 factorial. This is nothing but 11c5 which we have seen before. These are the possible ways in which we can score 6 runs in 6 balls. But the total possible ways in which they could score 6 runs, in which we can score the total possible ways in which we can score runs in 6 balls would be, the first way the first ball we can score in 7 ways. Either it could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 runs. And in the second ball also you will be having similar chances. You will be having 7 possible ways, and the third ball to 7, fourth ball 7, fifth 7 and 6 7. So that would be 7 per 6 ways. So the probability of scoring 6 runs would be equals to 11C5 divided by 7 power 6. That would be equals to 0.00392. This is the approximate value for this value of 11C5 divided by 7 power 6. So the probability of him scoring 6 runs in an over would be 0.00392. The ninth question is, which of the following is our probability mass functions? The first value, okay, we will look at each of this. These are infinite series kind of thing, since we have infinite possible values for each of these x. The first option is P of x equals to x is 3 by 4 into 1 by 4 power x. For it to be a PMF, the first condition is each of them should be greater than or equal to 0. For each of this ax, it should be greater than or equal to 0. We know that 4 power x is always greater than 0. So this total of 3 by 4 into 1 by 4 power x will be greater than 0. So the first condition is satisfied, which is P of x equals to x should be greater than or equal to 0. And similarly, if you look at it, for the second option, third option and fourth option too, the first condition satisfies, because for each of this we have the values which are greater than or equal to 0 only. So the first condition is satisfied. All we need to look at is the second condition, which is sigma of I equals to 1 to infinite or n. In this case it is infinite, since we have infinite possible values. P of x equals to x should be equals to 1. Okay, we will solve this for each of these options. The first option is 3 by 4 into 1 by 4 power x. If you look at the series of 3 by 4 into 1 by 4 power x, okay, the sum of these should be equals to 1. X belongs to 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay, so the sum of the probability sigma of I equals to 1 to infinite P of x equals to x should be equals to 1. So that is equals to 3 by 4 into, if we substitute x equals 0, we will be getting 1 by 4 power 0, which is nothing but 1, plus 1 by 4 power 1 is 1 by 4, 1 by 4 square plus 1 by 4 cube plus and so on, infinite terms. This is nothing but geometric series with a is equals to 1 and r is equals to 1 by 4. Infinite geometric series, here modulus of r is less than 1, so that a by 1 minus r sum is applicable. That would be equals to 1 divided by 1 minus 1 by 4, which is equals to 3 by 4 into 1 divided by 3 by 4, which is equals to 1. So the first option is correct, since it satisfies the first condition and second condition. Let us look at second option. Second option is P of x equals to x is 1 by 8 into x plus 1 into 1 by 2 power x. 1 by 8 into x plus 1 into 1 by 2 power x. X belongs to again 0, 1, 2 and so on. So this is nothing but the sum of this should be equals to 1. We will check that. P of x equals to x would be, if we substitute x equals 0, we will be getting, okay, without substituting it, first let us just divide this. It's nothing but 1 by 8 x plus 1 into 1 by 2 power x, that would be equals to sigma of I equals to 1 to infinity. We can take 1 by 8 outside, x by 2 power x plus x equals 0 to infinity, sorry, x by 2 power x plus 1 by 2 power x. We know that the sum of this 1 by 2 power x is equals to, could solve for that, sigma of I equals to 0 to infinite 1 by 2 power x, that is equals to 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 cube plus and so on, that is equals to a by 1 minus r. A is equals to 1 and r is equals to half, that would be equals to 1 by 1 minus 1 by 2, that is equals to 2. So this particular value is equals to 2. Let us solve for this x by 2 power x. Sigma of I equals to 0 to infinity x by 2 power x. Since we don't know this value, let this be equals to s. Okay. So this would be equals to, if we substitute the values there, it would be 0 plus, for x equals 0 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square, so 2 by 2 square plus 3 by 2 cube plus 4 by 2 power 4 plus and so on. This I can write it as 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 square plus this 3 by 2 cube, I can write it as 1 by 2 cube plus 2 by 2 cube plus 4 by 2 power 4, I can write it as 1 by 2 power 4 plus 3 by 2 power 4 plus and so on. So this is equals to, I can take this 1 by 2 square, 1 by 2 cube, 1 by 2 power 4. Similarly, we will be getting all the other terms. That would be 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 cube plus 1 by 2 power 4 plus and so on. This will be one sum plus of the remaining terms. This one 1 by 2 square, 2 by 2 cube, 3 by 2 power 4 and so on. That would be 1 by 2 square plus 2 by 2 cube plus 3 by 2 power 4. Similarly, it would be 4 by 2 power 5 plus and so on. This is nothing but the same geometric series which we have been seeing continuously. Here a is equals to half and r is equals to half. So it would be a by 1 minus r. The sum of this would be a by 1 minus r, half by 1 minus half, plus of, here this one will let it be like that for now, 1 by 2 square plus 2 by 2 cube plus 3 by 2 power 4 plus 4 by 2 power 5 plus and so on. This is equals to 1 plus, here in this we can take 1 by 2 outside. If we take 1 by 2 outside, it is 1 by 2 plus 2 by 2 square plus 3 by 2 cube plus 4 by 2 power 4 plus and so on, infinite terms. If you observe here, this 1 by 2 plus 2 by 2 square plus 3 by 2 cube plus 4 by 2 power 4 is nothing but this particular value, which is s. So we are solving for s here. So this s is equals to 1 plus half into s. This particular value is again is equals to s. This implies 1 by 2 s is equals to 1 and s is equals to 2. Okay. If you substitute these two values of this value sigma and 1 by 2 power x, which you got as 2, we will be getting this sum as 1 by 8 into, we will be substituting this here and this over here. We will be getting 1 by 8 into 2 plus 2, which is equals to 4 by 8, which is half. So this sum is not equals to 1. The sum of this, the sum for this sigma of p x equals to x is not equals to 1. It is equals to half. So the second option is not correct. If you look at the third option, it is nothing but half into 1 by 2 power x, which is nothing but this one, 1 plus this. Let us leave out this half here. If you look at the remaining one, 1 by 2 power x, we should be finding the sum of those infinite terms. It is nothing but 1 plus half plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 cube and so on, which you have seen from the, this is from the second option, but the sum which we are trying to find for third option is already solved in this here. So this sum is equals to 2. So if you are solving for p of x equals to x here, it would be half into sigma of 1 by 2 power x. This 1 by 2 power x equals to 0 to infinity. This value we have already seen as 2. So this should be half into 2, which is equals to 1. So this third option is correct. The sum of probabilities is equals to 1 for third option. And if you look at the fourth option and second option, fourth option is p of x equals to 1 by 4 into x plus 1 into 1 by 2 power x. And second option is 1 by 8 into x plus 1 into 2 power x. Here, whatever sum we got for second option, if you multiply it by 2, we will be getting the sum of probabilities for fourth option. We got that the sum of probabilities for second option is half, and we should be multiplying that by 2. Since we have there 1 by 8 and here 1 by 4, that's why we are multiplying it by 2. We will be getting 1. So the sum of probabilities for fourth option is equals to 1. So the first option, third option and fourth option are correct. Let us move on to the last question. Which of the following is the correct graph of probability mass function? The values are rounded out to 4 decimals. They are given the graphs, and based on that they are asking that. Let us just substitute these values of x for 0, 1, 2, 3, and then we will check for the graphs which one could be correct. Okay. P of x equals to 0, if you substitute it should be e power minus 1 into 1 by 0 factorial, which is nothing but e power minus 1. And p of x equals to 1, it should be equals to e power minus 1 into 1 by 1 factorial, which is nothing but e power minus 1 factorial is equals to 1. So, and p of x equals to 2 would be e power minus 1 into 1 by 2 factorial, which is nothing but e power minus 1 by 2. And p of x equals to 3 would be e power minus 1 into 1 by 3 factorial, which is nothing but e power minus 1 divided by 6. E power minus 1 value is equals to 0.3679 approximately. Here also it would be 0.3679, and 0.3679 divided by 2 would be 0.1839 approximately. And this e power minus 1 divided by 6 would be 0.1839 divided by 3, which is equals to 0.061 approximately. They are given for the first option, p of x equals 0 is given as 0, but p of x equals 0 is 0.3679, so the first option is wrong. For the second option, they are given p of x equals 0 as 0.3679, which is correct, but p of x equals to 1 is given as 0.2679, so that is wrong. This is also p of x equals to 1 is also equals to 0.3679, and for third option, they are given p of x equals 0 as 0.3679, which is correct. P of x equals to 1 is 0.3679, which is also correct. P of x equals to 2 is 0.1839, which is correct. And P of x equals 0 is 0.061 approximately, which we have calculated. This is correct. So this could be the correct option. We'll check the last option, and if that is not correct, then this should be correct. And for last option, they are given P of x equals 0 as 0, which is not correct. So the fourth option is wrong. This makes the third option as correct. Thank you.